So students, good afternoon. Sorry about the 2 weeks lectures. I couldn't do it, and so I will do the lesson that we missed on the 10th September. I'll be doing it today. And the one that I missed last Sunday, I will do it next Saturday. But tomorrow also we will have as our normal classes. So I think everybody has submitted the assignments. Anybody who has not submitted any questions, you all can ask, because I think today is the 8th. You all have just 3 or 4 days to go to submit. So do you all have any questions, or you all are okay? Metni, what about you? Have you submitted? Roshan, I think you did. Metni, what about you? Have you submitted?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
I didn't submit.
But are you okay with everything, or do you have any questions, like last minute doubts?
I'm okay with everything, ma'am.
Okay. That's fine then. So without any due delay, let's, like I said, okay, I'm not going to recap again everything, but I will just go to our main content. So we are still actually in the unit of professional development and academic writing skills. So I'll just roughly do a small briefing. It's all about developing yourself professionally when it comes to working in a healthcare sector. Can you all remember what are the topics we learned under professional development? Can you all tell me examples as to what skills that we were focusing on to develop? Can you give me an example? Just a fast recap. Saranga, can you tell me what skills did we talk about when it comes to professional development? Do you all remember what types of skills we need to improve in professional development? Anyone? Janaka, can you tell me what is professional development and what are the skills that we were talking about the past 3 weeks?
Our knowledge related our job.
Yes, very good. Knowledge related to our job. So in short, yes. So in short, I will say professional development means is a way how you talk to people, how you write to people, right? Basically to your higher authority, to your managers, to your CEO, to your fellow colleagues, to your fellow employees, right? How you behave yourself professionally and politely, and also how you communicate. And communication is on many ways. You can write to them professionally, you speak to them professionally. How is your body gestures? There is a certain way how you use your hands, the way you stand, the way you pose, right? Everything comes under professional development. So right now we are done up to here, like what is professional development, what are the barriers when it comes to professional development. So sometimes effective communication could be a professional barrier. Sometimes you speak good English but the other person cannot understand, or you don't speak their language. So sometimes there could be a certain barrier when it comes to professional development in terms of language. Sometimes in terms of writing, you might find the right difficulty finding the right word to, or the right sentences to compose and send it to them. That could also be a barrier, right? Today we will learn about different sources that is available for professional development, and then how you can analyze certain factors to consider when selecting certain opportunities, right? And we also learned within the last 3 weeks how you can upgrade yourself in terms of professional development. I told you, like, age or your basically your education background should not be a limitation when it comes to developing yourself professionally. You guys are still not too late if you want to learn a language, if you want to learn a particular course, if you want to take a particular subject, if you want to go further in your education. You should never stop yourself or put a full stop, because there is never a right age or time for you to learn. There is always room for you to improve yourself as long as you have that determination and the way that you manage your time, right? And how you allocate yourself to gain certain skills, right? So even if you're in your company, you could always go for workshops, you could go for seminars, you could go for certain, like, how do you say, conferences and meetings to always upgrade yourself with related to whatever the job you're doing. Okay, right. So already last week we defined what is professional development, right, in healthcare sector. And then I told you why it is important, right? It is important because you want to make sure that the working place is going to run smoothly, it's going to run efficiently. And in terms of business prospect, if you have a professional way where you deal with your clients or with your, what do you call it, employers and employees, there could be certain what do you call, financial prospects that you could see in your company, right? So you could write a lot of things in your assignments when they ask, okay, why is professional development important, right? And in healthcare sector, because you're dealing with a vulnerable group of people like patients, elderly, disabled, right? If you can deal professionally, you could see that you are giving your service in the best of way. And also you could see that the patients, let's say, life expectancy is developing, their service is getting better, more people would likely choose that particular healthcare sector because of the way people are dealing professionally, right? So there could be a lot of good things that can come out when there is something developing professionally, right? And like I mentioned before, there are certain activities that you could go into if you want to develop yourself in health and social care, certain trainings, right? So sometimes we feel like, oh, I am the manager, I am the boss, I don't need any more skills to improve. No, there is never such thing. There is always room for you to learn. We never stop learning regardless of our age. There is every day for us to learn something, because learning, like, just if you take science only, there are still so many things, even myself included, I would not know a lot of things in science. That is why there is always room to always learn and to upgrade, right? So you cannot say, okay, learning stops after 20s. No, it doesn't, right? There are skills that which you and I still don't have, but we can always, like, acquire those skills based on workshops, presentations, seminars, like that, right? And the capacity. Last week we already learned, right, what is capacity, capability, and competence, right? I hope you all remember, right? So capacity means the amount of time or the endurance that you can keep up or hold on. So some people, they have the capacity to learn maths only maybe for 30 minutes. Some people can go for around 1 hour to 2 hours, but everybody has a capacity. Some people have the capacity to do a high pressure job and manage their time with other social work and personal life. That is their capacity. Some people, it is not easy, right? So everybody has a capacity, but it doesn't mean somebody who has a higher capacity is better than to the person who has a lower capacity. So I already told you, we should never judge somebody or classify somebody as, okay, they are weak, they are poor because they can't hold this much of capacity. We cannot say like that, okay? And capability means, like, you don't need to really train that person for a long time. Like, let's say somebody has joined the company recently, you don't need to like train them, always be behind them, because they are very capable to like learn from what they see, and they can catch up fast, and they on their own can do their things independently. That is a capability. They are capable of it, right? And competence means, for example, in terms of knowledge and background, they are already competent. Like, let's say they have a degree in medicine or in biology, and you give them something new or something extremely challenging, they are already very competent to withstand that task or that exam or that test. Okay, so try to distinguish these three words, like when you write your assignments for this particular module. So you have task 3 and task 4 under this module. So if you know these terms, you can use it to enhance your grades for your assignments. Okay, so I already mentioned about these things. shadowing means like you try to follow somebody who is a senior to you. When you have joined a company, you shadow someone, a senior or someone who has worked in that company for a very long time. You shadow them just to get an idea about how this task is happening, how you do this job, like that. And I already told about conferences, workshops, seminar, right? Attend to those things even if you are working right now, or even if you are not working in your own company. Like Karanga mentioned long time ago, she does her own daycare center. So she doesn't have much opportunities to attend to conferences and seminars, but she has already the chances to attend to conferences and seminars online, right? So there are so many things that are posted online where you can join for free, attend to those conferences and seminars to upgrade your skills. Okay. Barriers of professional development. We spoke about this also. Like I said, everybody has issues when it comes to time management. Like sometimes it's not because we don't know how to manage our time. Sometimes it's just that within a very short time span, they put a lot of work, and sometimes we do not know how to get everything done so fast within that given time period. So like my example, when I joined my workplace in Thailand, because one person has already left, and because I'm a newcomer and I had to do a lot of work that he had left and gone, and in the same time I had my own set of work that I had to complete. So all this is given within a short span of time. Sometimes people forget to understand, okay, this employee is a newcomer, this employee needs to have some time to understand the setup, how to do this, how to get familiar with certain databases, certain certain links. Sometimes the management forgets these things, right? So at that time, the pressure is actually in me, right? So I have, sometimes it's no point making them to realize and understand. I just have to get it done. Sometimes that is how corporate sectors work, certain working places work. Sometimes you have no saying in that. Sometimes it's pointless trying to explain because it's not going to do any good. They are not going to understand. Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and find ways, which is why exactly I couldn't find really the time to attend to the classes because I was so packed with so many other things going on and I had no time for my own self. So I had no choice but to finish what was ahead of me, and I could do only by taking some time off from the classes that I had to conduct with y'all. Okay. So yeah, lack of time is a big problem for many of us, like even for y'all, with your family, with your children, with your spouses, and with your own work. Sometimes it's difficult to set into certain deadlines, right? And like I told you, shortage of staff, right? During the pandemic, if there were 20 people in the staff who was working, and if around 10 had gone because of COVID, now that remaining 10 has to cover the other 10 people's work. Sometimes that could be a big barrier, right? And I told you lack of IT skill and resources. So today, day and time, you have to be very good in communication skills, your IT skills, and your mathematical skills. And I told 3 weeks ago, these are skills that never goes out of date, regardless what century, what millennium, because these are skills that come every time that you need to be good at, right? So you need to be in par with your IT skills, how you communicate, how you write, and also how you deal with certain with money, like numbers, financially, how you manage things, you need to know, right? Shift patterns, like I told last time. So Rivka just told last time she prefers working in the night. Some people prefer working in the morning. So some people who prefer working in the night, if they are given to work in the morning, it can be a little bit of a barrier to them, or the other way around. If people like to work in the morning, but they are put to work in the night, that can be also a barrier, right? So it's all about every day we have barriers in our life, not just workplace, in our home, in our own personal life. That's just a reality. Okay. And lack of funding, right? So like I told you, like my own personal example, I prefer teaching my students with multimedia presentation, but the school didn't like that idea and they wouldn't fund it. So I raised my own funds and I bought a multimedia for my students, and we could work smoothly for our classes, right? So lack of funding can be a big problem, right? But most of you all suggested how we could overcome lack of funding is by raising our own funds. Sometimes it could be about car washing, you raise money from car washing, right? There are ways that you could raise your own funds if your company or if your organization doesn't allow you, right? So all these, I'm just giving a brief recap because we have discussed them in detail, right? So possible ways to overcome barriers, like we mentioned, lack of time, how we could overcome the lack of time. One thing is many people said last time, a lot of people said you all organize based on a journal, you all write what you need to do first, what is the most important thing that you need to do first, and you will attend to that, right? And I think that is a very effective way. Sometimes when you are overwhelmed with work and bogged down with a lot of work, you need to write down, and after you write down you need to sort of analyze which needs to be done first, and you prioritize that task first. This is the best way for you to have effective management, right? And the next one is shortage of staff. So if there was 20 and now it's 10, and if 10 people have to do a lot of things, the 10 people will sort of discuss, okay, let's try to evenly distribute our job. Yes, and first of all is understanding each other properly and being reasonable and fair. So sometimes what happens in many sector is, in these kind of situations, sometimes people tend to take advantage, like they are not reasonable, they are not fair, right? It's always two or three people who will take that extra workload and put them on themselves to um, to finish the task. And I think this is a very wrong thing. If there are 10 people remaining to do the task, all 10 people need to sit and they need to have a meeting and they need to analyze, okay, we are in a situation and this is a very difficult situation. And the best thing that we can do now is we will plan out who can, first of all, you can ask who is comfortable in doing this job, who is comfortable in doing this job. It's always better to talk and discuss. That is why I think many corporate sectors, or even many situations or relationships, or even things go bad between colleagues and employees because they don't want to discuss and talk what the problem or what the issue is. That is why I always say effective communication and what you call planning and analyzing is a very important thing, because unless you communicate and plan and analyze, you are not going to know what is the problem that is lying in this situation, right? So you need to communicate, and then you can sort of say, okay, I will take this workload, you will take this workload. Maybe today you can take a break, tomorrow I will do it, and day after tomorrow you take a break, you don't need to come. Like that, you have to analyze it, okay? If you are lacking of IT skills and resources, the best thing is you can always learn. Like I told you, there is enough resources out there for free that you can learn and upgrade yourself. We cannot give the excuse saying, oh, it's expensive, we don't have these resources, we don't have that resources, because it is not like our parents and grandparents' time. There is ample amount of free resources available online, in Google, in YouTube, in LinkedIn, and you can get to know from people, right? You can sign up for free webinars, for free seminars, and you can always upgrade your skills. Whatever, it's not just IT. If you want to learn a language, there is enough ways that you can learn a language for free. You don't need to sign up, you don't need to pay. No, you don't need to do that, okay? Shift patterns again. If somebody is always getting night, if they prefer morning, then you can say, okay, Monday and Thursday you work nights, and Wednesday and maybe Friday you can work in the morning. You can always alternate the shift patterns. Lack of funding, like I said, you can always talk to your boss, you can always talk to your CEO, maybe they can talk to the external companies for sponsors. And if there is no sponsors, you raise your own funds by fundraising projects. There is always a way out for every problem, okay? This is a slide that we stopped last time. What are the different sources available for professional development? That is, I told you, you continue your education. Like I said, don't let your age or your education background stop from learning what you want. You continue to pursue. What you need is that determination and that mindset that you can do it and that you can go further, right? And the next one is, like, again, research, go for professional organizations, seminars, workshop, right? And the moment you go for these workshops and seminars, keep upgrading your CV, because I will tell you, like, I have a colleague in my workplace. He's now 47, close to his 50s, and only now he's starting his masters, right? So like myself and him, we almost have like a very big age gap, but I find it very interesting that he didn't stop his age to go to his next development in his career. Because there are people who go very far in their 50s, in their late 50s, in their early 60s. So that is why I said, don't let your age stop you to go further, right? Yeah, you go for skill-based training. Like I told you always, if it's not just about passing the assignments in autumn or in this healthcare management course, it's about what you have developed. Like most of y'all said, I feel I have better writing skills now. You said you feel you can communicate in English better. You feel you have learned to manage your time better. Most of y'all gave me your feedback in the past few weeks when I asked y'all how this course has improved. So that should be the main thing. Finding yourself that something has improved in terms of your skill is a great achievement. Okay, that is a great achievement, right? What else? Yeah, job assignments. Okay, so these are the ways that you could improve your sources for professional development. So today's topic is going to be about goals and targets for professional development and plan. Before I start today's topic, is there any questions, students?
No, I'm very clear.
Okay, good. So let's say like today we develop a new set of skills, right? So for example, develop skills by taking online or person courses, shadowing a co-worker, going back to school, among other ways. Like, so for example, let's say like in the USA, sometimes because of teen pregnancy, right? Because of teenagers getting pregnant, they have to like sort of skip school. They have to go out of school because they decide to actually raise the child. And sometimes the partner, they don't want to go along with the child and they give up. This is a very common thing that happens in the USA, in the Europe. And I think now it's coming a little bit to Asia also, but not so much in Asia, because in Asia, parents are very behind the students, behind the children, at least until the age of 25. They are continuously behind their sons and daughters until they finish their university degree and until they get their job, right? Even until their marriage, many of the boys and girls are with the mother and father. So that is a very good thing in a way, because they are very worried that the child should be stable in terms of education, in terms of career. But it's not like that in the USA. 16-year-olds get pregnant, 17 to 18-year-olds get pregnant, and they, because of they want to raise their child, and because sometimes parents abandon them, they decide to quit the school. But the good thing is, some of these very teenagers, they decide to go back to school even in their 20s, right? Because they realize, okay, I have now the capacity to look after my child and as well as to go back to school, because I want to finish school. I want to get my diploma or my degree so that I can have a career. So that is why, as a teacher in Thailand, I always encourage the teenagers the bigger purpose in life, because we have a special subject about this. I always encourage them the importance of education and why they need to have self-control and why they need to focus more on studies. And I feel within these 3 months, I see a lot of students' relationships problem. But after encouraging them by showing them like visual slides, what happens to them when they get into these unwanted issues, how much they can get their lives destroyed. So now, like a personal experience, I have a 15-year-old boy who now who gets into these situations but has realized that having a girlfriend is not the biggest life goal. But now he has like really, he's still not that great in grades, but I can see his effort. He would come to improve his English, he would come to improve his science knowledge, whenever the exam comes, he wants to like really learn. And this semester his grades are quite better. So that is why I feel there is always a way that I can make an impact in other people's lives by communication, showing them the guidance. And it's the same for y'all. Don't limit yourself with age or your difficulties or your challenges, right? And now they are doing better in their education because they see that is a bigger purpose, a bigger goal to achieve in life, right? At the same time, shadowing a co-worker, I mentioned this a while ago. If you have joined the company recently, and if your boss or your manager has asked you to shadow or follow somebody to learn the certain skills, like 3 months probation, 6 month probation, they will ask you to follow so that you will learn the setup in that what do you call workplace, how you could do the work, right? That is what you call shadowing, right? And is there any other ways that you all feel you all can learn new skills? What about Taranga? Can you think of other ways other than shadowing or seminars or courses? What has helped you, Taranga, in developing a new skill? Can you tell me your personal experience when you started your daycare center? What are the ways you learned your new skills, Taranga? Can you tell me?
Uh, I did a first aid course.
Yes. Okay.
And uh,
And I think for English also you went, right, to improve English.
yeah,
I think yes. Okay, so that
yeah, I
that
did that
that is
diploma also.
diploma. So can you see, like, she's a mother, she has a child. You have a one daughter, right, Taranga? I think one child or two. I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
cannot remember.
Yeah, one.
Yeah. So you, despite having a child, despite having her own daycare center, despite being an entrepreneur, she never stopped saying, okay, I never learned English in school, so that's it. I'm never going to learn. It didn't stop her. Even at this, she went back and she wanted to improve. She joined a diploma course to improve English. She wanted to learn first aid, basic life support. She went back. That is that is actually the attitude, or that is something within you about your discipline in wanting to learn something, right? That is a great way to accomplish. What about Janaka? Any way that you learned a new skill or a skill that you learned additionally outside your workplace or your course? Janaka?
Yes, ma'am. I am working as a manager in tea industry.
Very
So,
good.
day-to-day life, I am self-studying any other situations in our in tea factory premises, and
Mm,
we I participating workshops and training programs.
very good,
So
Very good. Very
yeah,
good, Janaka. Very good.
so when I getting any knowledge of in that sources, and
Mm-hmm.
I divided into my ground level to how to use that and develop their life. How can we using that knowledge?
Very good. The reason why I ask this question is sometimes, like I told you, like I think 1 month ago, like after my master's, honestly, I really didn't want to continue studies anymore because I got very burnt because mentally exhausting, physically exhausting. But then when I discuss with y'all, sometimes just as much as I have inspired y'all to go far in life, y'all have inspired me too. So when Taranga said she started her own school and when she's going for courses, it inspired me that okay, I want to do further more. I want to do learn more. Like that has inspired now. And when Janaka said that he's a manager in a tea factory, he's attending seminars. Sometimes like when I attend seminars, I remember the things that y'all have shared, and that helps me to go further because like I said, we all get tired at one point, not because we are old. Sometimes, like I told you, my friend 24, sorry, now 25, she gave up her master's because she went through a depression because of the stress, and she was going through some situations with her father was sick. So she couldn't take the load of the masters. Like usually for international students, we are given 2 years to complete masters. But for Thai students, they give around 3 to 4 years to complete the masters. We international students like us, because they spend a lot of money for us, because it's a scholarship, we are not given a lot of time because it's an additional cost for them. But because for Thai people, they are in their country, they are given more time. But she just couldn't cope up. Only like 3 days ago, she messaged me and said, Afrida, I have come back to Bangkok. She had gone further away from Bangkok to her hometown. Her mom had to come and take her because she was worried and she was not in a good mental state. But now she's okay. She has come back. So, all of us, if it is something that is tiring us or stressing us, what the best thing I would say is take a break. Like for me, taking a break is what I really need now, because I also went through a lot of pressure mentally, physically, emotionally, because I'm away from home. I had to do a lot of things on my own, like a lot of things new to me in my workplace. And sometimes it's the truth, you don't have anybody to support you. You are your own best friend sometimes to carry yourself and go forward. And I really felt that the most in this 2022, I felt it the most, right? Because I also was in Sri Lanka for some time and I dealt with a lot of things in Sri Lanka with the crisis, and then coming back and getting adjusted to the culture here, working here. I have never worked in this country. I've only studied, and student life is very different to a working life in Thailand, right? So a lot of adjustment, lot of challenges. But all I can tell myself and y'all is that don't stop yourself from learning and growing when you have challenges that makes you to get very tired. It's very normal, and I understand. I have been there too. Even today I feel a lot of exhaustion after so much of episodes, right? But I rested a little bit mentally, and I think I'm a little bit okay, right? So that's what I say. Take a break if you must. Always, you must have a hobby to do. Like we discussed all this in our previous module. Some people said they like to listen to music, watch movie, they do certain hobbies. Some people like to cook. Some people like to do exercise. Some people like to go for trips. Like, you must find something that actually helps you. Like recently, I will give you an example. Like I had a lot of anger issue because of the stress I was going. I was shouting a lot at my students. I was shouting in among my colleagues, but actually everybody is very good to me because they understand the load and pressure that I was going on. That's what happens when you are overly stressed. Sometimes people can lose their temper a lot. Sometimes people, like, they deal it in a different way. I had a lot of temper issue this past 2 weeks because of the pressure that I was going through, right? But after taking a break, I reflected. I realized, okay, I had gone through so much of stress. That is why I'm having this anger issue. And next time, what I could do better. So all the work colleagues in my workplace, they're very good to me. They're very nice. They advised me after I got calm that anger is a problem because of my stress. So that is why I say don't. Why I'm saying is sometimes we don't want to learn skills because we get tired, we get stressed, we get burned. But what I suggest is always take a break, come back, and then you will feel that you're getting better at it, right? So don't stop yourself from upgrading your skills or learning new skills. Okay. Again, workplace skills. Like in my workplace skills, what I could learn better is about how I deal with students, because students in Sri Lanka are very different to the students in Thailand. Like I mentioned, the way they approach the teacher, the way they behave is very different, right? So my skill now is to understand how student, like that's what I said. Today, it is not about intelligence. It's most of the people in my workplace said, Miss Afrida, you're very intelligent, but the thing that you need to work on is maybe emotionally how you deal certain situations, how you react and respond, right? And that is true. So for me, the reflecting skill that I need to do is how I deal with different personalities, because I am now in a different culture, in a different workplace. So my skill should be how I understand these students, because their culture is different, my culture is different, my experience was different with my own culture. right? In Sri Lanka, students are very different. They are more, you can say they are more grateful, they show more gratitude, they remember you for the good things that you have done. But in Thailand, students are very different. They have a lot of money, they are spoiled. They don't remember the good things that you could do. Sometimes it can be hurtful for me, like that. But for me, the skill now is understanding the differences, right? Skill is always about emotional, how you develop yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, right? These are also skills. So for me, that is my workplace skills that I need to develop. So for y'all, maybe it could be a like on online course in communication, psychology. For y'all, it's actually healthcare management, right? If you want to improve the way you speak, you can join Toastmasters Club. If you want to improve your skill in maybe IT, you could join a diploma in IT course, right? It's always first thing that you need to do is understand what is it that you are lacking. Is it a skill in writing? Is it a skill in speaking? Is it a skill in IT? Is it a skill in finances? Right? Janaka, what is a skill that you would like to improve as a manager in your tea factory? What do you think? In 2022, what is your skill?
I want to improve my uh, mechanical knowledge, and I want to improve my um, uh, vehicle vehicle repairing side and
Right.
machinery repairing side and overall factory manufacture.
Right. Excellent, Janaka. See, I think I see you are very, very ambitious. And I feel you as a manager, you didn't just stop yourself, oh, I am the manager, I know everything, so nothing, no need, I just earn and go. No, that is really good because you have future goals. Maybe your dream is to go outside Sri Lanka or to go to a good European country. We never know. I don't know your ambitions or your plans, but I'm happy that you are aware of what you want to improve further. That is the first attitude. Excellent. What about you, Taranga? And Metni?
Ma'am,
Others? Yes.
ma'am, additionally, and at the initial stage, we should study about someone, what kind of skills he has, what additional qualification he has, and whether he is talented or not. And we should identify, and we can get that his knowledge for our future pathway.
Yes, yes, very good. That's a good answer. Taranga, what about you? What do you
Miss,
suggest?
these days I'm developing my healthcare
Okay.
skills because I'm planning to migrate in this area. So I'm studying and I'm watching and I'm developing my health and social care skills.
Okay, that's great. That's great. So see that you are aware and you know what exactly you want to improve. Excellent. What about the other students? Metni, Roshan, y'all haven't spoken anything yet. What do you think is your way of?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, go on.
Before I join this course, I don't have speaking skill.
Yes.
I have written skill, but because I didn't have speaking skill because day to day I do not practice
Yes.
speaking because I am doing a job public health field now. So I do not practice in daily.
Right. Okay.
And I try to improve my knowledge
Right.
through YouTube video
Right.
and English course before starting this this course.
Exactly. So that is what you need to understand. Like most of the, especially in Sri Lanka, the problem is like we fear to communicate in English because we are fearing that we will be judged for our grammar or for how we speak because it's a judgmental mentality, right? It's the same in Thailand also. Like students but I would say Sri Lanka is much better when it comes to English. But the thing is, you need to understand you are not going to improve a skill unless you put that skill into practice. You get what I'm saying? So, Tilani, you won't have ever improved speaking in English until you spoke in English, right? So that is why I encourage for a skill to be improved, you need to like put that skill into practice first. You cannot be a writer unless you write. You cannot be a good speaker unless you speak, right? So, so all this, why I'm giving you all personal like examples is no shame for you to learn from your mistakes. No, and English is not our native language, right? We learn as we go. So good. I feel happy that y'all are learning it in that aspect. That's great. That's really great, Tirani. I'm really happy you feel that something has had an impact in y'all. That's excellent. That's right. Why do you think I make this session interactive? Because I know that y'all are not like English speaking people, and I know additionally with this you are going to get the English background too. That is why and honestly I'm not judging any one of y'all. I do not judge, and I don't have the right to judge also whatever the English is, right? Because y'all may be good at something extremely better than me in something, right? Y'all are ahead of me in something and I'm ahead of y'all in something. That is something we need to accept the differences, especially when it comes to a group project. Why is it that we have a group discussion? The first thing is we discuss, okay, what do you like to do? And the group leader will analyze, okay, let's say Janaka is very good when it comes to finance managing. Taranga is very good when it comes to IT. Metni is very good when it comes to delivering the ideas. Each one will be analyzed. That is a correct leader. That is a leadership skill. The leader identifying everybody's skills accordingly, right? That should be the right thing to go forward. Okay, good. Metni, what about Roshan? Can you give me your output? Roshan, what is your output? What do you think that you want to learn as a skill in you? What skill would you like to improve? I'm not sure whether her microphone is working. Tilani, what about you? I think I'm not sure who.
Already I told,
Sorry,
ma'am.
Tilani. Sorry. Thank you. Metni, what about you, Metni?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to improve my writing skills.
Okay.
Because I'm good at means speaking, but I'm
Yes.
not good at writing skills.
Don't worry.
So means I personally I didn't speak at your session because I don't know means I don't not good at means these things because still I'm schooling. So
I understand.
I want to learn this course because I want to migrate to
Right.
UK.
Right.
So meanwhile, I'm doing also a diploma English course.
Well done.
So that's why I want to speak no matter how I am. So I always believe in myself.
Very good.
So that's it.
Thank you, Metni, for that output. Very good. Because you're a school student still, trust me, you have a lot of time and opportunity to learn as you go along the way. So don't worry about it. That is why, like the couple of weeks during the writing the assignments, I was actually very strict about how you send emails, how you write an email, right? But I understand I can't be too tough because, of course, I have more experience than y'all. I have had more practice. So of course, I will be a little bit better than you guys, right? But at the same time, I can't just let go and say, I can't like overlook at the mistakes because y'all are students, y'all are learning. So I should be the best in way to sort of help y'all to improve. So it is a very good thing to analyze what you are not good at and analyzing what you are good at. That is itself is a great skill. Sometimes people don't know what they are good at and what they are not good at. It's other people see that in them, but they cannot see that in themselves. It is true. This is all about that confidence. It is actually very sad. Like in my that's what I love to be among the students because I see a lot in them which they do not know that exist in them. Sometimes the parents don't want to encourage that they are good at something, or sometimes the other people have put their confidence down, that they don't see that in themselves. So it's a great skill to see what you guys are good at and what you guys are not good at. And when you don't know what you're good at, it's a matter of, working on it. Okay. So that is a great. Thank you for answering. Everybody contributed. Excellent. Right. And professional network. Like, for example, many people come to a job by networking. It's like they get to know from, like, majority of the, now I got into this job by, researching, by joining certain Facebook pages, by applying many times. But most of the people who are working with me, they came by getting to know through somebody. That is why they say networking is important. Like, even the scholarship that I came to Thailand, I got to know through another work colleague, right? So that is why you need to have, like, a healthy, sometimes, of course, everybody is not going to be healthy for you in your workplace. You will have toxic people, you will have not so great people, but sometimes you can have an okay type of people who are genuinely there to help and support you. Like, at least one person will be there, most probably, who is okay with you. Of course, in a workplace, you can never have them as your best good buddies, like school and university. It is different. Work colleagues are different. But it is always better to have a professional network. Like, when I say professional network, is they say, do your work, get paid and go home. That is the best policy when it comes to workplace. That's why I always encourage all the gossiping, then discussing about another colleague with another colleague. Like, all that should be refrained, because we don't know how it's going to backfire at us. If you are going through something, like Taranga mentioned to us about her personal issue that she went through in her workplace. Taranga, I just want to ask you, did you tell about your matter to other work colleagues or what you were going through? Because I want to get an example here. About, like you said, you approached a person who was bothering you and it didn't work, and you approached a manager later. Did you tell other work colleagues about what you were going through? Yes, sir.
No, miss, I told it about to my husband only.
Can you see? That shows that she was wise. This is very correct. I'm very happy. I mean, that is a very good thing. If you are going through now, for me personally, when I have issues, mostly I will tell it now. I've learned it the hard way, that I tell my family only, and I get the best advice from them, right? Or maybe like one good colleague who really sees it and will give you some constructive advice. But I suggest, unless it's your husband or your parents or your very close friend outside workplace, it is always best that you don't discuss it among your other work colleagues, because you never know their true intentions for you. This is the truth. You never know their true intention for you, because for most of the people, it is an entertainment to discuss about another person's issue. This is the truth, right? So expand your professional network, but do it professionally only. You do it professionally. Always have in a healthy way, where you greet them, good morning, good afternoon, how are you doing? I'm fine. Don't be personal. Like, especially in my workplace, I am like in the youngest category there. All the other people who are working with me are in their 50s and late 40s. So they are very curious about a lot of personal information about me. But my tone and my body gesture has made them realize that, okay, Afrida doesn't like to be questioned about certain things. So it's always about how you give that. I'm not rude, or I'm not impolite, but I just said, okay, I'm kind of not so comfortable in answering this question. So they don't ask me anymore. You understand? So that is why I say build a professional network, but always be professional. You can always help another work colleague. There are a lot of work colleagues who help me in my workplace because they know I'm a newcomer. They guide and support me. But I always tend to be closed when it comes to my personal information. Okay. So that is that. Okay. This is all about professional development. Okay. Next one. Oh, I'm sorry. Standard benchmark against professional development. Can you all tell me the meaning of benchmark? What is benchmark? Students, what is benchmark? Can somebody tell me what is a benchmark? Anybody? Just define as per your knowledge. What is benchmark?
Standard level, ma'am.
Very good.
Benchmark.
Excellent. Excellent. Standard level. So, for example, if I'm to give
Quality.
your quality, yes. So, for example, let's say the benchmark that a product is safe to consume in Sri Lanka is you see the ISO, ISS, what is that seal? The SLSC,
SLS.
what I cannot remember now. What do you call that?
SLS.
SLS, ISO,
Yes, SLS and
HACCP,
ISO.
any other HACCP.
Yes.
I think.
What is Janaka? I remember ISO and SLS only because those are the two things that we learned in my company. ISO and SLS.
HACCP, hazard.
HS.
HACCP, ma'am.
Okay.
Hazard Analysis Critical Control Plans.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know about that because I'm not much into the what you call product management, but I know that when you want to see the quality is safe or consumable is to see the SLS and the ISO. So good. I learned today from you. So thank you for that. Okay. So see, those are like the benchmark to come to a conclusion that this is a quality product, this is a safe product to consume, right? Okay. Benchmarking is basically the process of establishing a standard of excellence and comparing a business function or activity of a product or an enterprise as a whole with that standard that will be used increasingly by healthcare institution. So usually in the healthcare sector, we don't go for ISO and SLS or whatever the logos that you all mentioned. Can you all tell me why we don't go that for healthcare management? Can you all tell me why, students? What is the reasons we don't go for those benchmark standards? Why? Why do you think, Janaka, we don't go for ISO and SLS in?
I think, ma'am, all we are dealing with human.
Anna.
Yeah.
Very good. Excellent answer. That is the main answer I was looking for.
Yeah.
ISO and SLS are basically for the products, but in healthcare, healthcare management, we are looking into service of people. We are dealing with vulnerable people like patients, elderly people, old age, right? So there is a difference. Excellent. So do you remember what do we go when it comes to healthcare management? What is that one word that we go for? Starts with P.
Legislation.
Well done, legislation, and another one. P, policies. Remember, we learned a lot of policies, right? If you are dealing with medical equipment, there are certain policies you need to follow. If it is like chemicals, toxic or carcinogenic, then we will go for the OSHH policy, right? COSH forms, right? Very good. So, like I remember, do you remember we learned around 20 to 25 policies if you are dealing with bedridden people, if you are dealing with old people, if you are dealing with mentally retarded people, if you are dealing with children, if you are dealing with chemical, right? You have certain policies and legislations that you need to follow. So this is under healthcare sector. But when it comes to products and management, just like how you all gave examples, okay? As a component of a total quality management, benchmarking is a continuous process by which an organization can measure and compare its own process with those of organizations that are leaders in particular area. Janaka, can you tell me in your tea factory or tea company, how do you deal with the ISO and the SLS? Do you all have internal auditing?
Yeah, ma'am. We gave to independence party to audit that our factory and company.
Mm-hmm.
They give independence report and they are doing surprise auditing.
Uh-huh.
And
Okay.
after we should renew that twice uh, year.
Ah, okay. Okay.
And they auditing and they issue in mentioning validity period in the certificate, and they are always doing surprise auditing, and we are always try to their follow their criterias and how to yeah, our matey, how to we always doing food safety product to out.
Okay. Okay. And what are the challenges, Janaka, you face when it comes to these ISO auditing and SLS or whatever the things that you need to certify? What are the challenges you usually have? Do you all get any internal corruptions, like where people forge things to get that seal? අපි කියන්නේ ඔය ලාංඡනය ගන්න ගොඩාක් හොර වැඩ like do you all have like that to get the
Yeah,
quality right?
yeah, we have too many challenges, and are already we are taken our Rainforest Alliance certificate.
Oh, that's
Rainforest
good.
Alliance certificate. We should follow deeply their criteria, and one by one our they are auditing one by one our suppliers and one by their families, and overall their uh, deeply audit that. Then their personal life, the actions against with our total outcome, total result. That's then we are uh, personally our give their our give to their our knowledge, and always try to uh, uh, keep it up
To the
only
standard
with
level.
scope.
Yes. So
Standard level.
yes. So that's thank you, Janaka. So that is experience when it comes to benchmarking that challenges. Similarly, even as a personal experience, we also have like when it comes to clinical research, we have auditing. We have an internal audit where the company will do the auditing, and then another auditing where the India, like CRAs, Clinical Research Associate. So basically, the company in Sri Lanka will do an audit before they find out other audits from India, right? So it's actually a very stressful situations because what happens is when there are certain bad things happen in the audit, it goes directly to the sponsor, and the sponsor is actually from Australia or Japan. And what happens is if they find that you have done a malpractice, they can completely stop the clinical trial. And because we are dealing with patients, if you have done something extremely unethical that has put the patient's life into a jeopardy or a patient's life into a health risk situation, you can even go to prison. You can go to prison because you are dealing with life and death, right? You're dealing with life and death. That is why I told you after 1 year in the company, because I found my work colleague was doing something unethical with a patient's life. And because this was caught to the Australian sponsor, and I truly feared that my life was under risk, I quit the job. Actually, I really liked what I was doing, but the problem is sometimes this is the issue. You could be doing everything properly and right, but the one that you are working with, because I had to work with her as a team, things are not going. And actually, the my boss, Dr. Namal, he actually said, "You stay. We will transfer her to another department." But actually, I didn't want to go any further because what happened was all the things that she had left behind, I had to clean up, and I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to clean up somebody else's unethical mess, so I quit. Right? That is why you need to have a benchmarking. You need to do something in the standardized way so that in the future you will not get caught for unwanted things. That is why I say, like we say, be truthful and honest so that you don't need to lie to cover up another lie. Eventually, if you have lied about something that you have done wrong, it will come out. It will definitely come out. So I like that's why it's always better to do your job ethically and morally properly before you get caught, and you don't need to cover up with another mistake and another mistake and another mistake. So you need to have a benchmark, a standard practicing way, right? So there are 4 kinds of benchmarking: internal, competitive, functional, and generic. So let's see what these means. So competitive benchmarking is like partners, they do the business in the same market and they provide a direct comparison of product or service. Can somebody give me an example here? What do you mean by competitive benchmarking? What do you think? What do you mean that they do business in the same market and they provide a direct comparison of product or service? What does that mean? What do you think? Janaka, can you give me an example? Who is your competitive partners when it comes to the tree factory? I'm
Yes,
asking this.
competitive
Yeah.
benchmark I think that's standard prices against green leaf per
Okay.
month.
Okay. And how has the Sri Lankan crisis does it have an impact for your company, Janaka? Did it have an
Yeah,
direct?
that's depend on the government reactions. Some government reactions that use danger danger effects for our industry. Fertilizer banning fertilizer.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay.
And,
Students, listen to these examples, what he's saying, because I'm asking, it's related to what we are learning, right? Okay. So you're saying the impact because of the Sri Lankan crisis was banning the fertilizer. So just imagine what an impact. You need fertilizers for the maintenance of the tea because the leaves are not going to grow if you don't have good fertilizer or low quality fertilizer. So just see the cycle. If that
politicians
Yes.
any time no idea to what is the industry, how they develop that, how it's growing, how it's growing that, and they can't know any ideas to about that. They only taking decisions only.
And
What is the they don't know what is the bad result of that.
And one more thing, Janaka, do you all export this tea to other countries? Because we know we export it to Middle East countries a lot, tea, and also to Turkey, Mediterranean countries. So do you all export?
Yes, Iran, Iraq, and Turkey, Japan also.
Japan also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then I think Sri Lankan Ceylon tea.
Ceylon tea.
Yeah.
Yes. So hold on there. So let's go back to Janaka's example. So my question was for Janaka was, what are the challenges and threats that you faced in terms of competitors? So even though Janaka and them didn't have a direct competitor with another company, he said the main impact that he had was the Sri Lankan government because of the Sri Lankan crisis. What was it? The banning of fertilizer. So when there is a problem with the fertilizer, there could be a direct impact on, your what do you call nurturing the tea leaves, right? Because that is your main product. And when this is affected, internal business within the country and exporting, everything is going to go like disrupted. So you can see that we see a cycle here. It goes bad in one area and the whole cycle is affected, right? So this is what I say, why we need to have a benchmarking, right? If a corruption is happening within your own organization, or if a corruption is happening externally or internally or within or between, okay, there could be a complete disaster that can happen in your organization. So this is an example that Janaka gave in terms of tea. How does it affect in terms of healthcare management? So let's I will give you an example again. So for example, if you don't have professional development in your healthcare sector, right? Let's say within the doctors, within the nurses, right? Let's say that if there are certain funds that is coming from other countries, and somebody is stealing this money, the HR in the healthcare sector, or somebody is stealing the money, what do you think this is going to happen to the utensils, to the drugs? That happened in Sri Lanka. I don't know what is happening now. Do you remember that we were running out of basic Panadol syrup, right? We were running of basic medicine when you have a dog bite. A child died because the father couldn't take, okay, that is a different, the fuel, but people were running out of surgical gloves, saline. So what was happening? The money that was inflowing from other countries were also being stolen by the government, right? So when the corruption happens, what do you think? Who is getting affected? The people who need the care, the support is not going to get. So that is why, can you see, professional development is not just about writing, speaking. It is also about truthfulness, integrity, kindness, right? Being honest, right? You doing the right thing. Like if this money belongs to the equipments or for the machines or for the ventilator machines for the COVID patients, that money should go to that department, not to your pocket, not for your food, not for your, for your income. No, no, it is the money that should go to the profession sector of the healthcare sector. So that I asked examples like this is because you understand when you don't behave professionally, there won't be a benchmark. Then the whole cycle gets disrupted, and what you see end of result is a disaster. Do you all agree with me, Taranga, Tilani? Do you all have any personal experience in this? No,
Ma'am,
Jonathan. Yes.
ma'am, due to stupid decisions taken by the rules of Sri Lanka,
Mm-hmm.
it's not only to agriculture, the entire economy in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I know that's a thing. Yeah, now you gave me something regarding to agriculture. There is
Yeah.
also issue regarding healthcare. What about
Yeah.
education? Like recently, I think 2 or 3 months ago, I saw Peradeniya, Kalaniya University, the one that they give money for children's food and accommodation. They were asked to exit the campus, right?
As a result of the that cause, then came back to Aragale.
That's what I'm saying. So a lot of things have an impact when there is no professional development. So we are talking about the professional development of politicians, starting from the president, from the people in the cabinet, like that, and how it has an impact on many things: healthcare, agriculture, children's school, education, right? Company, everything. Everything got affected, right? What about Tharang and Thilani? Your examples of benchmarking in your respective situations, can you all give me? Can you give me an example where you all faced something like that?
Because of that COVID-19,
Mm-hmm.
We face so many problems.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What was your situation? How did you all overcome that? How did you all overcome that?
Actually, at last I have to stop my Montessori because of the COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
Because that because of the fear of that COVID-19,
Mm-hmm.
that people didn't put that new admission to the Montessori's and daycare.
Mm.
They keep the children at home, and at that time there were so many that online things like online nursery classes and
Mm-hmm.
other kind of things. So
Mm-hmm.
that parents followed that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, we
So
knew the online trend. Everybody had to go, the whole world had to go online, right? Online meeting, online education. Then it became hybrid, a little bit in online, little bit on site, right? Like that. Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is different challenges can come in different situations. In, like I said, in Sri Lanka, there was a time where we went through the war. Then we went through the COVID-19. Then we went through certain, racism problem. Then we went through the, economical crisis. There is always different times of episodes that Sri Lanka went through. But the challenges, when it comes, there are ways that we can always deal situations professionally, right? So if you go to see in Sri Lanka, 95% of the crises occurred because there is no professional development. If you go to see, other than COVID-19, because that was a pandemic. But many of the issues in Sri Lanka was why? Because of lack of professional development. It is because there is issues among religion. It is because there is corrupted politician. It is because of, the war, like the 30-year war that we fought, right? People wanting to overpower another ethnicity, right? So what happens in the end? So many lives lost, so many disasters, so many
So
corruption.
many business
Yeah,
were
so
closed.
many business were closed. If you go to see Sri Lanka as a country, the main problem is because of lack of this professional development, right? Like, for example, how many of us Sri Lankans, right? Like, if you go to see, like, the discrimination that happened, how many lives were lost, right? All of these, is it needed? It is all unwanted. End of the day, what happens if we could all live in peace and harmony and understand and do things in a professional way? How many things we could have overcome, right? Even if you want to get into a bus, how many people wait till the other person gets down and then for you to get in? Simple things, how much we could have improved ourselves. That is why I know I'm lecturing for few people, but you can take my message to your organization. It is starting with you. If I can change 10 people ways of thinking, then you take the message from me and you give it to the, Taranga, you're dealing with children. They are the next upcoming generation. And Janaka, you're dealing as a manager. You have juniors who will join the company. If it's anything that you can give them is instill the right values, the right ethics, the right things. That is the only thing. If rest all, you can train them, but you can't train them good qualities, good behavior. So you should show them the guidance, show them through your own good qualities. That way they will follow it, right? All this is professional development. If from day one as a country we have developed these skills professionally, lot of things in Sri Lanka would have been resolved. We have resources, we have a beautiful everything, but what we lacked was basic human things. That a lot of destructions happened in the past. I think this nonsense in our country has been going since 2009, if I'm not mistaken. Many episodes we are going. Just after completing the 30-year war, our focus as a country diverted to many other things because of lack of professional. There is no development, right? Professional development means you see the right thing, but because of your own ignorance, because of people's ignorance, and because they want to believe something as they want, there were a lot of destruction in the country, right? So that is why I say, if we can change the way we convey the message to our generation, we still have hope to develop our country. So a lot of y'all gave me good example, right? So internal, competitive, right? So that we spoke about the competitive benchmarking. Functional and generic benchmarking are performed with organizations where we have a specific similar function, like when it comes to payroll, when it comes to purchasing. Like now, after the economic crisis, there were a lot of people struggling to pay for foreign universities. The one thing was exchange currency was not going. Many people were struggling to pay. Like a lot of my students, they couldn't go to university because like UK universities were not accepting anyone from Sri Lanka because of the economical crisis. They worried that they could keep up that money because the pounds were very much high compared to the Sri Lankan rupee, the amount of money they need to pay for that pound, right? So that is what I'm saying. How, like, the amount of things that got affected is countless. It is countless, right? So it is actually very sad. And Taranga, what is the situation now? Like, is it getting better? Because I don't know anything what is going on. Do you think it's getting better? Like in general?
They are telling it, but it is not happening.
Mm. It's not happening. That's exactly what I got to know from my father also. Yeah, so then what is happening now is like the amount of exiting. People
Yeah, that education people are going abroad.
abroad.
That is
Can
the
you see?
reason.
Yeah, everybody is leaving abroad. Even when I came to Sri Lanka, from Sri Lanka, the day I was coming to Thailand for my graduation, that time I didn't know I will be working here. The amount of people exiting the country is like really crazy. The amount of people are really exiting is crazy because it is, and when the more educated people are exiting, the amount of people uneducated and like these corrupted people are now going to remain. So it is only going to get worse. So that is why
They are also going to Middle East.
yeah, that's the thing. Many, I know there's a heavy outflow of people in this country from Sri Lanka within the year. I understand because there is no professional development that is taking place, you know. There are so many meetings from the cabinet and everything, but you know, you don't see an outcome. So that is why this module should help you to understand
And
where
they are also not educated people to do this
the
thing.
country exactly
Correct.
correct. That's right. We don't have that.
I
Hmm. Yeah, it's very sad. It is actually very sad. Because the thing is, what happens is the younger generation don't want to stay back because their life is how much their life got affected. You know, imagine in Sri Lanka, children don't have exam papers to sit for exam. Where in the world would you hear such news?
And every exam postponed.
Every exam got postponed. Exactly. One by 1 year, they are like they and imagine the exam that they need to sit at 16, they have to sit at 18, they have to wait another couple of years to get into university, no job, you know, parents have extra burden to give money for them. Look, that's what I am saying. Why I asked from Janaka this example is that one situation where goes wrong, that whole cycle gets affected. It is the same for the
Ma'am,
children. Yes.
ma'am, before economic crisis, this is an example. Before economic crisis, we are opened LC through an import color separator machine
Mhm.
for USD. For amount is USD 64,000
US dollar.
USD,
Okay.
and uh, that LC opened by 720 users days
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
after pay.
mm-hmm,
Okay, now we should pay on that time. Dollar price is 189.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now dollar price is 370. Touch
Oh my
near
God.
385.
Oh my
That's
God.
okay. We should pay uh, 370 deduct 189. 181. Double, 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 Sri Lankan rupees, uh, 64,000.
Sorry, hold on.
584,000 we should overpay.
Mm-hmm.
And now bank interest rate going 8% to 36 or 30 point plus near 35 and other.
Yeah,
Any
that yes.
overall situation is going so bad now.
I know exactly. That is exactly what my father also said. The overall situation in Sri Lanka is going way worse, and I know
yes,
that.
I have to add more thing, ma'am. Uh,
Yes.
Nowadays, the people who live in rural area and state,
Mm-hmm.
they are responding us very aggressively.
Oh.
They are telling we don't know, we don't want health advices. We are only want foods and money and other things. The dengue cases are very high, but
Very
they are
sad.
yes,
It's
but
very
they are
sad. Now what happened is now the suicide rate will go up in Sri Lanka very gradually. It will happen because that I know is coming very soon. Because when people are starving and when people are having to pay 4 times the money for the basic food, the only solution is now corruption will go more. I know that is why I understand it is not going to get any better. It will only get worse. I asked
yes,
this. I asked this. Actually, I never wanted to find out because it's too painful to find out. But today I'm finding it out because I have no choice. But I already know the answers that you guys are going to give me. And I'm very sorry for that. I really feel very upset because yesterday only my father said that it has got very bad. It has got very bad, and I know. So that is what I'm saying. The repercussions because of this situation is it's long lasting. You won't see a solution anytime soon. It's very depressing. It's very depressing, and I know.
Yes,
Ah.
all health workers are losing their interest job, ma'am. They are only doing for task.
Yes. It is very sad, and I honestly don't know where it's going to head and where it's going to end. And I really feel very scary about that also, to be honest.
Now, already our time is past, but means our generation, new
Generation.
generation,
Yes. Yes.
we are very worried about the generation.
Exactly. The children. Yeah. And that is what I said. What can they do also? Because they cannot do a job if they are 15. And I personally went through after my master's, I couldn't find anything for the 9 months when I was in that country. And I know what it is for the younger generation there. It is a real big struggle that all of though just because I am here doesn't mean my heart is not there. I am a Sri Lankan. I have a family there and I worry a lot. That is why I said we are all going through a lot. Don't think that because I am here, my situation is solved. No, I too am going through. I am affected by it directly too. I know what it is like because I have a family that is there and I have so many things to overcome here too. Right. So that is why I have a lot of anger and bitterness because every Sri Lankan is affected, even though we are not in the country. We are all directly or indirectly affected because that is why I am giving you all this lecture about professional development. Can you all see the impact that it can cause in everybody's life? Your organization, yourself, your family, your children. Every one of us is affected, whether we like it or not. Yeah, it is actually very, very sad that like Taranga said, this lecture should be given to those corrupted people. They should be educated. It is the right ones are not being, being educated, and therefore we cannot find the solution yet. And the right ones who have it don't want to stay back. They want to exit. Right? Yeah. Okay. Thank you, students. You all gave these examples. You will remember when you all write for your assignments, when you all give examples, you all can give these examples in terms how cooperative sectors, educational institutions, healthcare management, how each one of these is affected because of the lack of professional development, right? Like I said, it's not about IT skills, it's not about writing skills, it's about values, ethics, integrity, being honest in your work. For me, these things really, really matter a lot. Honesty matters a lot, right? It really matters a lot because actually, when these things are like not fulfilled, the challenges. Can you see the destruction that we are heading as a country? I honestly don't know when Sri Lanka is going to get into a better situation. I don't know, but the future looks very scary. That is all I can tell. What about the cost of food, Taranga Janaka? How is it now? Double, triple the price. That's what my
Cost
father
of
told me.
living is very
Very high,
very
right?
high.
Cost of living is going
Now it is
too
that
much.
when that time we that monthly expenses, now that money we have to use for the 1 week.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, Taranga. I agree that.
Mm. Anyways, very depressing
Very
actually.
bad situation which we are going through, but some kind of people can't see this situation. They are telling that now going softly and like kind of things, but it is not happening. I don't think this situation, I think it is long
lasting. Yeah, I agree on this too. I really hope we all find I'm really praying for the betterment of the country because I have a family there too. So it is affecting me a lot, to be honest. It affects every day for me, to be honest. That is why sometimes I also get very emotionally very affected. Like it is a lot for me to take it in. But I hope and pray that we will find a solution for this. Okay. What I can give as an advice is do much as possible, whatever you all are doing now in your best of way, right? Hold on to your challenges in a in a positive way. That is the best advice that I can give, and hopefully we will survive it. That's all, right? So yeah, I know it's not an easy thing. It's a very difficult situation that all of us are going, and very sad. Like, even for me, why am I here? I am here because of the country's bad situation. It's not because I never wanted to exit leaving my family. Nobody wants to do that, right? But like, that's what I said, we are all affected directly or indirectly. That has made us to exit our families and go far away from our homes and our loved ones. So it's not an easy thing. Okay. Anyways, yeah, so we learned and spoke a lot about the development aspects, the skills, what we need to do, right? How it can affect if this is not met properly, that vicious cycle where one thing goes wrong, how the entire thing gets affected, right? And eventually how everything can get collapsed. Oh, I'm actually upset now, right? Anyways, find other ways to deep job satisfaction. So, like now, I can't remember, I don't know whether it was Metni or Roshin who said that, the people in the rural area are replying very aggressively, right? So yeah, that's the
Ma'am,
thing. Yes.
we need to think new things and do new things instead of thinking about economic crisis.
Yeah, but the thing
Okay.
is, Janaka, the thing to think new or to start new things, what you need now is the budget, the funds. Where does it come?
In Sri Lanka, we
Yeah,
can't
we
do
sh-
any new thing
We cannot do new things because our main problem
because
is
it
our
is
economy.
wasting our money and
Money.
also the time.
Yes,
yeah,
that's the problem.
bank and government should support to that.
But now, like I said, the whole main issue lies in that sector, right? That is the corrupted sector. That so we cannot expect unless a country will help us. And we have already got so much of loans from India, and we are already bankrupt because of what China did. Like, it's a whole cycle, right? So we really don't know unless IMF will do something. But that, I don't know. I honestly don't want to know the real solution for this. But to do something new, it is all like what is Thilani said. Now people want to just have food in their stomach, and you all already said the month that you all got for 1 month is not enough for 1 week. That is highest inflation in country, right? That is the sad part now.
As example, ma'am, we should already fix solar panels in our rooftops. Uh, uh, we have no problem in electricity issue.
But that my husband did the
Professionally, it's very high.
solar business,
Mm.
but the government
Yes, I know
didn't
that.
support us. So at last, we what is that called? අතහැරලා දැම්ම එක. And that my husband moved to the another country.
ඒක තමයි, that is the only, moving to another country, sorry to say, is the only feasible option right now.
As a
The
greedy, as a
No, only option, ma'am.
as a greedy decisions of the politicians.
Exactly. Whatever suggestions that you give, Janaka, it solely lies on the money and the budget, and that is the crisis that sadly we are facing. Anything goes back to whatever you suggest will go back to the economy, because the
And
solution.
that politician, that what we are going to give that suggestion, they are not taking because it is not that good for them.
Mm.
That they are that I mean that ඒගොල්ලන්ට වාසියක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ.
Oh.
Always they are finding their commissions.
Yes. Yes, so that's the
That's why
thing.
they are not supporting us.
Yes. So that is why students, so it's all about the professional development that needs to happen in your government sector. Because understand one thing, country is managed by the government, right? And whether you like it or not, everything has to bypass through that sector. Everything goes through that. So if that is the corrupted sector, whatever you suggest, whatever you do honestly, whatever you do the best, is not going to work, because that is the main problem. It's like, for example, I'll give you an example. You cannot give treatment for cancer until you remove the tumor, no matter what chemotherapy you give, it's not going to respond until you remove the tumor. You will respond to the chemo only when the tumor is removed. So the tumor here is the government, right? So if that is not removed, no matter what suggestion, what solution you give, it's not going to work, right? That is what I want to say. So this professional development that we are talking about in today's lesson, right? You can understand the repercussion that it can cause. It can cause life and death issues, and it has caused life and death issues in our country. Children have died, people have died, old people have died, everything has been affected. Future is affected, children's education is affected, no jobs, the jobs they get not enough for a week of expenses. So that is why I said this unit should be given to the people who are causing this issue. If they knew from the beginning what they did is wrong and what they need to do should be in the right way, we will not be in this situation. Okay. So next one is other ways to deepen the job satisfaction. So again, now the problem is getting a job. Other thing is whether we like or don't like the job. In our country, many of the people, they have no choice but to hold on to it even though there is no job satisfaction because of the situation that we are in. Because the main problem is every day as a Sri Lankan, the problem when they wake up is, can I afford the food for today's meal? Will I be able to? Remember, all of us, including us, we went from 3 meals to 2 meals, right? Because of the inflation, right? Even today, it's there. Because the worry is, can I at least have one meal for me, for myself, to survive for that particular day? Okay, that is a situation, right? So job satisfaction is something that many people, students, just give me, because I have a religious calling. I will start in 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes, okay? Okay, students, where was I? Yeah. So job satisfaction sometimes, if you are in a good economical situation, sometimes people can have the choice of quitting the job because they feel that they don't have a work-life balance, right? But in Sri Lanka, whether you like it or not, with the situation, like I said, because the main concern is about bringing food to the plate for your children, for your family, even if you don't have job satisfaction, they still hold on to it, right? But the ideal situation is if you feel that there is no work-life balance in your job, then the best situation is to quit, right? And find a job that gives you that job satisfaction, something that you like, something that you can do. Okay. Um, yes. Oh, hold on. Yeah. So here are some goals that you might set to improve your work day. Always you have to have a lunch or a coffee break, maybe with your coworker, but not discussing personal things, but maybe you could discuss about, oh, where did you go out? Like general thing about maybe about a travel place that you went. It's always, like I said, you need to have sufficient breaks so that you don't mentally collapse, because when you don't have break, the reactions can sometimes, it could be you can mentally break down, maybe you could not focus, you can have anxiety issues, you could have issues with your focus, it could lead to a lot of stressful situations. So that is why a job should have a work life balance. It's a must, right? And join or start a workplace interest group. So sometimes in your workplace you can have people with the similar interests. There could be people who really likes to travel, so you form a group. So when, like, let's say you have a 2 or 3 days holiday that is coming in your workplace, maybe the people who have the same interest can, go together to a same work to a destination, right? Or sometimes some people will have the similar interest to watch the same kind of movie, or maybe to do a certain charity work, right? They all agreed, okay, we need to do a charity to this organization. So you join as a group and you contribute, or you deliver to that particular organization, okay? You create a plan to prepare healthy meals for lunch. Now, the other thing is a lot of people, like I think this was there even when we were in school, because we need to get up in the morning. We don't like to drink our tea or drink our milk. For many of us, including me, I never went with breakfast. Even though my mom forced me, I just couldn't eat so early, right? And then what we did was, during somebody's joining, hold on. Okay. Yeah. So sometimes we tend to like lose our appetite because of stressful situations, right? Even me, like in school days, most of us, we went without breakfast, and we have episodes where we fainted during assembly, or we would get calls from our parents saying that your child fainted because why didn't you give breakfast in the morning? So it's the same sometimes in adulthood, for me including. Sometimes I just a cup of coffee is like what I can, because I have to go early morning for my work. But it's really not a good thing, because one thing is long-term health repercussions can come. Sometimes we tend to overeat maybe for lunch, or maybe we don't have the energy that can keep us going in our workplace. So to keep things going in your workplace, you need to schedule certain things, like you plan to prepare healthy meals for lunch, or maybe like you can say, okay, today I will bring lunch. I did this when I was in university. I had a friend. I used to take lunch one day and she used to bring lunch one day. We used to alternate. Then that kind of helped us to sort of overcome our stress in university. We did this because, like, I look forward to eat her meal, okay, to know, okay, what did her mom cook today? And she would look forward to my meal, okay, what did your mom cook today? And that kind of helped us to forget about our stress, because university also had our own stressors, like, submission for assignments, many deadlines to do, and, so you need to have something that will keep you going with your job. So these are like few examples: coffee chat, interesting work group, preparing healthy meals for lunch, you take reminders to take intermittent breaks throughout the day, right? Now, last few, like when I have like stressful times, sometimes we take breaks and we chat on certain like common things, right? That that will give you the happiness to at least go back to work, right? Clarify boundaries on work expectations outside of working hours. This is very important. Like sometimes many work, like especially corporate sectors, even after working hour, let's say is from 8 to 5, after 5 also people message you, do this, do that. And that's very unethical, very unprofessional, very, very unprofessional, because the people who message also should know this person is meant to work at 5, and after she goes or after he goes after 5, he has another family life, he has his own personal life, he needs to eat, he needs to sleep, he needs to rest. We are not robots or machines, right? So if you feel that you are being contacted outside working hours, then you need to go and tell this to your manager or to your CEO. Look here, I need to have certain boundaries. I have a wife, I have a child, I need to give time for them, I need to give time for myself, for my mind and body. um, can you give me that, what do you call, leverage? But like I said, sometimes when you join a certain place newly, you don't have the luxury of voicing out because you may be in a probation. Or like in Sri Lanka, you have, whether you like it or not, you have no choice but to do the job, because whatever the way that you earn is going to be spent for the food and things that you need to live, right? So sometimes, yes, it depends on the situation. Take relevant courses, like sometimes for another way, like for example, if you are in healthcare management and if you feel that you really like to learn more about medicine and science, like Taranga did, other than healthcare management, she also took health, what do you call, first aid, and also she took another course in basic life support, right? Because she wanted to enhance more, so that made her to be more interested in this field. So, right, courses can help you develop skills, learn about issues relevant to your work. It can fix new parts of your brain, right? Your analytical skills, your logical skills, your practical skills, right? So that is why they encourage you to take courses. Like I told you the example, between Android and what do you call, Nokia, the CEO of Nokia never upgraded himself with new knowledge and skills. And as a result, the Nokia phone had to go out of market, and Android was the new competitor because the CEO of that company always, upgraded himself with new knowledge, with new skills. He always thought, what are the best other ways to keep my clients more interested with new features in the phone and apps, marketing strategies. So, taking relevant courses can always help you to benefit more financially, skillfully, professionally, and even mentally, right? Even if it's academic, you can always improve by taking certain courses. I already told this, shadow another department. Like for example, in my working sector, not many have a master's degree program, but there are many people, because of experience, there are certain things that they do which I really have not had the experience before. So I like to watch them how they do it. And I always try to extract, okay, maybe I also can do this next time. That is why I like looking at people who are above me in terms of experience and skills. Sometimes they are actually not as educated as much, but they have that experience and skills which I can learn by shadowing them, by following them, right? So it can encourage the communication and the cooperation across teams, and it can improve them in their own team, right? Like if there is someone who has come newly, they can always shadow the seniors or the people who have more experience, and that way they can inculcate their skills and upgrade their skills further, right? What is a mentor? Do you all know who is a mentor? Can you all tell me who is a mentor? Who is a mentor, student? Taranga?
Person who following.
Is a mentor is someone like a friend, but more professionally a friend. You understand? It's more professionally a friend. Like for example, uh, how to say,
It's a guide, no?
a guide, but
Yeah.
sometimes the mentor can be your good friend also. It's a little bit more like a friend, but not really like a friend, but sometimes can be like a good friend. Like they guide you, do this, and they give you the best advice. Okay, don't do like this. Maybe you should do it this way so that you can have a better result. Maybe if you do this, you wouldn't get yourself into trouble. It's always better to have a mentor, a guide, right? Especially you will have for doctors, you will have a good mentor. For teachers, you have a mentor. In a corporate sector, you will have a mentor, right? So they help you to navigate the challenges. You should have a good mentor, right?
Mentor
Uh,
should be a role model.
Mentor should be a role model, exactly. That mentor should ensure that he or she will guide the person who is under them in the right way, in the right direction, that they give the right advice. Okay. So might sound like finding a mentor might sound a daunting task. Like for example, personally, for my master's, my thesis was very difficult for me because I didn't have a good mentor. And when mistakes were done, it was always criticized, it was always discussed, it was always spread. But a right mentor, if they see that you are doing a mistake, they will directly come and tell you, oh, don't do this. This is a wrong way to do the practical. You should have done this way. I suggest you do this, read this art. I always in life, I love to have a mentor because I know I'm guided in the right direction. And I know that if I'm doing something wrong, someone can help me to guide me to do the right thing before it goes to the boss or to my superior. So in my masters, like many things were very new to me, things that is one thing that really burnt me in education to go further, because that not having a right mentor can make really life very difficult. It's very difficult, especially when you're doing something new for the very first time, and when you don't know what to do, how to do, where to go, you just feel very frustrated and very disturbed and upset because you don't have a guide. You don't know, like, it's a really sad situation, right? So finding a mentor might sound like a daunting task, but be assured that many have done it before. Some workplaces have mentoring programs in place that makes it easy for people to connect with a more experienced professional, and you might like also find that your professional network will come in handy here. So sometimes from one mentor, that mentor can like for example, I had a friend. She had a very good mentor, and that mentor introduced her to another country for her further education, and then as a result she could go out of she could go further to another European country. So that is why I'm saying having a right mentor is a blessing, because they introduce you to more other good people, and then you get to know more other opportunities, right? So it's a blessing to have a mentor in life. And yes, if you don't have, it's actually a very challenging time. Okay. How to set professional development goals? Janaka, can you tell me, how do you think you can set professional development goals? We have just 9 minutes. What do you all think? In your own word.
I think it's we can develop their professionals in through workshops and their uh, self studies,
Yes.
and we can develop it. We can develop their professional skills,
Okay. What
and
else?
uh, how to control cost control, how to efficiency work, how
Mm-hmm.
to saving electricity, and there's that kind of sites. Uh,
But good. What about Taranga? What are your suggestions?
Yes, follow the goals uh, with new things, introducing new things, time management.
Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. Good. Yes. Anything else? What else?
And also life skills, no?
Yes, life skills. Yes, like how we've already mentioned before. Yes. Yeah, like today it's all about developing skills, right? And we learn so much, like how much it can have impact as a country, as for people in a sector. You gave your personal experience, and ultimately what we could conclude is, if everybody did their job properly, ethically, morally, and in a very good way, none of these issues would be, like, whatever the things that we are facing would not be an issue anymore, right? So the first one is, know what you are working towards. That's the most important thing. Like, when I asked all of y'all knew what you all wanted to improve, and all of y'all knew what were you all good at and what were you all not good at. That's the first thing. Need to know what you need to work on, right? Start by taking some time to consider what you want out of your career now in the future. Goal setting is a useful exercise because it can clarify what you really want out of your career and identify tangible steps to achieve it. Tangible, intangible. Tangible means something that you can hold on to. Like, for example, you know that if you improve your writing skills, you can get better scores in your assignments. Or if you speak better English, maybe it is not going to be difficult to work in a UK sector or USA sector, because that is the main language, English. So you already know what you need to improve on. Okay. And you must always set SMART goals. It means you should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. Remember, please remember these words: specific. Like I said, if you want to be an author or to publish your book, specific skill is writing. Measurable, like, for example, how do you know that you are improving in your writing? Maybe after your assignment, the first one, you got 5 out of 10. Maybe second assignment, you got 9 out of 10. You can measure how far you have done. Achievable, no one can be a good writer just by, in 1 or 2 months. You need to go through a process, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. Relevant, right? Like, for example, let's say that you need to write an assignment on healthcare profession. You write regarding under that topic. Relevancy. You don't write about government, you don't write about politics, you write for that particular topic. And time bound, right? You need to have a particular time span. Sometimes for us to improve a certain thing, we need to tell ourselves, okay, I will try to improve my skills within this time period. Because that is a good thing about deadline. As humans, when we don't have deadlines, we are very loose. We are not very strict with it. But when you have a deadline, I feel it disciplines us. That is why deadlines are scheduled to bring the discipline in people to get the job done at the right time. If not, you will be doing healthcare management course for the rest of your life. But it is because of the deadline and submission of a particular time, you get it done and submit and you complete it. Why is degree given maybe for 2 or 3 years? Because if not, you will be doing a degree until your deathbed, right? That is why you need to have deadlines, is to bring about discipline, right? So that is important. So always, if you want to set a goal, set it under the criteria of specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So again, specific is goal should be well defined, and unambiguous means it should be like you should know exactly what you want. Okay. Measurable goal should have a clear way of identifying where you've achieved them, or if not, how close you came to them. Like I said, if you knew in your first assignment your academic writing was because of bad grammar, you need to work on grammar only. Maybe you have good spellings, maybe you have good collocation, but it's just the grammar. Measurable thing. You know it's the grammar that you need to work on, then you work on your grammar. So you take online courses on grammar, you go for a grammar class, you speak more in good grammar, like that. Achievable, setting a goal that you can realistically achieve. Like I said, if you want to be a good writer and if English was not your native language, you can't just put pressure on yourself and say, I'm going to be a good writer in 1 month. No, it takes time, it takes practice, it takes discipline, it takes tolerance with your own self, with external challenges, right? Patience with your own self. So it needs to be practical and realistic and relevant. Like I said, I asked Methni what she wants. and she said she's good in her writing. No, she's good in speaking, but she wants to be more better in writing. So you need to be relevant in what you want, okay? And time bound. Set a deadline. Like I said, if you didn't have a deadline, you will not have a discipline in finishing your task, right? So you need to have something that is there is a deadline, right? So last time I gave a deadline because it was not feasible for you all to do 2 assignments within a short period of time, but the deadline was extended for 14 days. But it's not going to be extended again, because if we keep on extending deadline, you will also feel in your mind, we have time. That's the normal mentality. Most of us, we get it done at the last minute, right? But you should always try to do everything on time. That's why you have to have better planning. Now, for me, this new job is a lot of stress, a lot of new things. So I was able to finish everything before deadline, but I always finished on the day of the deadline. And I don't like that. I'm not happy about it. But with this experience I have had in these 3-4 months, I know now how I could do better next time so that I can finish next time 2 or 3 days before the deadline. That is something measurable and achievable, because now I have the experience. I know where I was new to, and now I have experience in working on those new challenges, and now I can plan it better to finish something before the deadline. So this is what I give you all also encouraging advice. Try to always know how far you have come, how far you have progressed, how well you can progress better next time. This is professional development goals. This is exactly even for Sri Lanka. If Sri Lanka knew where we were heading, right? If these, honestly, this topic is very depressing. I think I'm not going to touch anymore, but I'm just telling in general for all of us. Life goals should be about comparing yourself for who you were as yesterday. If you have done something better today compared to yesterday or a week or a month ago, you have accomplished. Now, if I have to work better in my temper, if I have to work better in my planning, if I have to work better in my time management, that is something I already know and I'm going to work on it. That is professional development, smart goals. Okay. Students, any questions you all have? I think we are almost done for today. We will stop for today from here. Now it's question time. I will give you all around 2 to 3 minutes. You all can clear anything or you all can add anything that you feel that is not in this slide.
No any questions, madam. But today really enjoy and really learn about how to our professional development and
Yeah,
how
it's a
to
very good topic. Yes. I also
yeah
think we learned a lot. We discussed a lot and we learned what a lot of problems can come because of this one lack of development, right?
yeah. Okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Janaka. Any other students? Taranga,
Miss.
Tilani, any
No,
questions?
miss.
Okay.
No, miss. Clear about it.
Okay, I want to say I appreciate you all contributed a lot of your experience. The reason we discussed a lot of personal experiences, end of the day, we need to improve ourselves practically, not just write assignments and pass, but how far you can rethink practically for your own personal life. Even though it's healthcare management, these are lessons that you can imply on everything in your life, in your own career, in your own life, in your family, your spouse, your children, everything. That's why I just give you, I question you all for examples, because you will learn from other people too, right? And I learned a lot from you all, and thank you for that. Hopefully, stay strong. Let's all stay strong and positive. I know we are having very hard. It has been a very rough year for me, to be honest, too. But I know we will have, there is, God willingly, there is definitely a light at the end of the tunnel. Just let's try to live for the day, not think too much about what is going to happen tomorrow. Whatever that is, whether God or whatever that you all are believing, have trust and faith that we will get through this. If we are good people, remember the blessings will come to you in different ways. Miracles, blessings will come. Just be kind, do the right thing at the right time. If even with your limitations, however much you can help someone, help them, even if it is by just an advice or guidance or telling them about something, giving an information, that too is a help that you can do, not just money or anything, right? So I will see you all tomorrow, students. at the same time, and we will continue from where we left. And hopefully, I think from next week onwards, yeah, I will try to have some videos, and because we have not done Kahoot quiz for a long time, maybe we can go with videos and Kahoot from next week onwards, and we'll finish on the module. Okay. Okay, students, are we done? Are we clear?
Yes, Miss. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. Have a good Saturday, guys. Enjoy time with your family and take a good break. See you tomorrow.
Too, Miss.
Bye. Take care.
Okay,
Bye.
Shani.
Bye.